All right. So active recovery day 2. If it's Tuesday or whatever day it is for you. Simple equipment list today: mini band, and a long loop band, and a foam roller. If you don't have, a loop mini band, you can take a flat type of therapy band and just tie it in a knot, of course. And if you don't have a long loop band, you can use a handled band. It might be a little bit more challenging for our Q2 movement demo, but it'll work. I mean, we always make it work with whatever equipment that you have. So we're going to do foam rolling, mobility, some movement flow, which is not Q2's movements, just to get the heart rate up today. And then I will demo some Q2 movements. We'll do them 1 round of a minute each, just to kind of get more blood flow, and then call it quits. So day 2, active recovery until we head into Q2 movements. All right, let's get started with some foam rolling. I've got you on a timer so that you can follow along if you want to, but you can foam roll as long or as little short, I guess, as you want to. So we'll start with lats. So because we're doing 3 full days of recovery, I broke them up into pieces. So your lats are here, kind of along your shoulder blade. So I'm gonna roll under my armpit and hit those lats. Depending on how often you roll your lats, they may be very sore. So if they're very sore, use this hand to kind of push up so it's not full body weight, and you can kind of support that so that you don't lay into it. Eventually we want them to not be so sore, right? That foam rolling is kind of softening up the tissue, rolling out those knots to make it more pliable. So we're gonna spend that extra time. It's about 50 seconds on each side as we foam roll, soften things up. Same thing, go right into it. I'm sure you'll find that one side is better or different than the other. Might be on your tenderness in kind of a different area. Take your time. If you find a knot, you can spend time just kind of pressing into it. It's like if some of you were getting massage and your massage therapist put their thumb in it, so that roller can do that same thing, get it to relax. Just soften that tissue up. You want to change it so it's not all webby like it's been if you haven't rolled it in a while. That is this outside hip, so it will go into that IT band, which we'll hit today too. So rather than sitting on the roller, we want to kind of get into that side of the roller. So we're high on the outside of the hip. You can even take this foot over the top. We want to get to that glute. Again, if you find that spot, kind of rest in it, as long as it's not super painful. You don't want it to be overly painful because your brain will do all kinds of protective things. But if it's just, you're like in that, then kind of lay into it for a little bit. Rotate into that front side. If you are muscle and body fat in that area, be careful because your hip bone's right there and you don't want to roll across that hip bone and create irritation. So you really want to find the muscle and the fat, it's okay, in that area for you to be able to kind of roll it out. And it might be great, like if you don't have tight hips and you don't have tight glutes, this might be like, it's fine. And that's okay. We'll just keep rolling. Keep blood flow into that area. And I hit all areas. So if you had an opportunity to do day ones, we hit other, areas. So we hit like glute max, so your big glute muscle. So now we want to hit the smaller ones. Your IT band will be painful, so be careful. You can stay propped up like this and do the push and pull with your hands, right? On your hands rather than on your elbow, because it could be very sore. You keep this foot here, that will help you not put so much pressure on your IT band. And let it be just what you can control. If your IT bands are good, then you're gonna take it all the way to your elbow and you're gonna push and pull on your elbow. If you haven't rolled your IT bands in a while, there is a very good chance it's not good, right? It's sore, and so you need to use those hands and that foot to be able to not have so much pressure on it. If you're having knee pain, or any kind of extra knee tension, there's a very good possibility that your IT band and your quads are getting tight because we're getting stronger, and you need to take a little more time. Let's go to the other side. You need to take a little more time to protect them. No, that's not the right word. You need to take a little more time to stretch them and to self-care them, right? So that they are not so tight and your knee doesn't take the brunt of it, because your knee is just a joint, and it doesn't have any of its own muscles. It's got ligaments, but you're not going to roll or do anything to those ligaments because they're your stability. And so it's everything that goes across the knee, behind the knee, that causes the problems. So that's what we need to take care of. Quads and hamstrings and calves and IT bands and all of those things that are impacting the soreness of our knees. Now, unless you've done some sort of, trauma to your knee, that's different. All right, adductor. So I'm gonna go belly downish, and that foam roller is gonna be on the inside of the thigh. And for some, this will be nothing. Like, adductors don't get sore. It's probably because we don't use them right. We'll get to that. But you may not have much of an adductor issue. My adductor's up higher, towards the top of my leg, not very sore right now, but down what we call VMO, that's where I have some tenderness right now. So just because of the work that we did. So I want to make sure I find that spot. You can move that foot around, so if I bring that heel up a little bit more, it hits that VMO, the inside part of the leg a little bit more. See if it's got that same feeling. I'm a little more sore on that high side of my leg, inside high side, or top, yes, on this one. So that's what you want to find is, like, are they the same? Probably not. We're not very asymmetrical. Don't forget to breathe. Oh my goodness. Always forget to remind that piece, right? We need those good inhales and exhales. That exhale helps breathe out any kind of toxic yuck that we're dealing with. Don't forget to drink your water, especially after all this foam rolling and movement. We want to move things along. Let's go to some mobility. So you can ditch your foam roller. We're gonna go into a cat cow. So hands and knees position. and I want you to work through the rib cage. So I want you to think about potentially tucking that chin in a little bit, and you're going to draw that belly button towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and draw those ribs back. So you're going to get that scared cat position, really be in control of what your rib cage is doing, and then you'll drop those ribs down and get that arch in your back. So you want to open up that rib cage and then draw it back. Take your time. Belly button back towards the ceiling. I think kind of close the rib cage. I don't know if that would be the right terminology, but I'm going to pull that rib cage up, get into that scared cat position, and then slowly drop it back down. We'll get that kind of an arch. So it's a scared cat, and then that sway back of that cow. We want to get mobility through that mid back into that low back, just back and forth. Belly button towards the ceiling. Back through. Take your time at the top and the bottom of each position. Settle in, be in control, press that up, belly button up. Back and forth. Last couple. Feel that flow. Really think about what that rib cage is doing, what that belly button is doing. This one is going to be challenging for some of you, especially if you have tight hips. I'm going to show you two different ways. Whichever way works for you is totally fine. And again, it might be challenging no matter what. Okay, so the first one is you're going to lean back. And all I want you to do is just side to side, drop those hips. So you can, straighten your legs to the point of where you need to. If that's too much, you can just drop to here. But you're gonna lean back on those hands and you're just gonna drop in. We wanna get hip flow. That's what this is. It's a hip flow, okay? If you're good, you got good knees, you got good hips, and you want a little bit more, you can sit up in it, and your knees, so it's like 90 position, your knees can go to the ground. So I'm gonna lean back, and then I'm gonna flow to sitting up. So this will help you get into your hips a little bit more. And then for me, I'm gonna lean back, and then I'm gonna sit up. If you're really mobile in your hips, you'll be able to switch to the other side with almost not leaning back. I don't have that mobility in my hips at this point. Probably did at some point in my life, but I don't right now. So I have to lean back to be able to get out of that position to be able to sit. Now, if this hurts your knees, right, you can open up a little bit more. That will allow you to get into your hips. You got to find what works for you, because we don't want you to be in pain. I don't need you to just go through the motion. I need you to find mobility in it. So find that flow. Helps you open up your hips. Again, just sitting back, going to side like this is okay. See, it already feels better now that I did that open flow sitting up, where I got to sit into my hips a little bit. It helped loosen things up. So just gotta find what works. And then, because we'll be doing very similar movement after quarter two, then we can come back and see we've been working on our mobility, if it's getting any better, which I hope. It's always the hope, right? Last one. Good, and we move into open book, okay? And so we just want to move through our mid back. Let's see if I can find a good position for this. And so I want to, almost to the point of where I'm hugging my knees towards my chest, and then hand to hand, and I'm gonna open through my mid-back. So I wanna make sure my knees stay touching each other here, and I'm gonna open to here. And then my head will follow to look that direction, and then I'm gonna come back together. I'm gonna stay on this side, and I'm just gonna open. I want to be through, again, through my rib cage. You'll feel it in your low back, but I don't want you to think about the intention is to crank on your low back or anything like that, because, you know, we're all attached. So you're going to feel it, but I don't want you to force it. Take your time. Feel that open, and your hand doesn't have to get to the floor on the other side. Because you have to lift your leg up to do that. We don't want that. We want them to stay together. So whatever open is. Let's go to the other side. Find that comfortable position. And we're going to go to open. Don't forget to breathe. So long inhale here, and then full exhale on the way open. Now, if the breathing gets all weird, then just breathe normal. Just don't hold your breath, that's all. All right, we are doing 4 movements. The first one is a hip bridge with a little butterfly. So you'll need your mini band. You're gonna put that just above the knees. Then we're gonna hip bridge. Keep it in that up position or isometric position. And then you're just gonna butterfly your knees in and out just a little bit. All right? So hips go up. We're going to hold that position, work on that stability, so take that belly button back, and then just in and out, pulse like you're flapping wings of a butterfly. So that in and out position, just putting a little tension on that mini band. Keep that belly button back, those glutes engaged, hamstrings engaged. We're just going to pulse in and out. If it starts to fall apart, you can relax and go back and reset yourself. Almost like a side plank, but we're going to keep the knees down like a clamshell. So we're going to go into an up and down position. Make sure everything stays stable. So you want your knees in line with your hips, in line with your armpits, shoulder. We're going to keep everything in line, and then we're going to go up and down. So we're going to do on each side. So here we go. Using that mini band for tension. Push those hips forward a little bit. If you start to get that glute fatigue or burn, you can rest, let it relax a little bit. Good work. Keep those feet together on your back side. Other side. Push that belly button back, hips forward, feet together. Shoulders stay stacked over the top of each other. I don't want to roll back. Keep it all stable. Good. Quality, quality. If you need to rest, take a little rest in there. Keep doing that. It goes around our wrists or forearms. We're gonna do a kneeling, I call it a touchdown, wall slide. We don't have any walls, so you want that around your wrists or around your forearms. Take that belly button back, squeeze those glutes while you're on your knees, and we're gonna slide up into that touchdown position and slide down. Slide up, keep a little tension on that band, and slide down. We don't want to pull it out too far away from us, so not a lot of tension on that band, just a little to slide up and slide down. So imagine that you do have a wall in front of you and you're sliding up and down the wall. If you do have a wall, you're welcome to go to the wall, but we want to keep that position. We want to keep those glutes engaged, belly button back. We're going to slide up and slide back down. One more. Last movement is our inchworm. So just as we do, I want you to take your time, feel those hamstrings. So hip hinge back, reach for those toes, then find the mat or the ground, whatever you're at. Walk it out slow. Calf stretch, walk it out. Calf stretch. Get into that plank position. You can drop those knees to help you lower it down. Push it back. You can even add that prayer stretch in. Walk it back out to plank position. And I'm going to walk it back into my hamstrings. I'm pressing my heels towards the ground. Get more calf stretch. Rocking side to side, get that hamstring stretch. You can add that side to side, like side lunge if you want to add that extra like we do for our warm-ups. Stand this one up. And then hinge, get those hips way back. Feel those hamstrings. Reach towards those toes. Feel those calves. Good. All right. We are moving into our quarter 2 exercises. So they are what's going to come next. The only equipment that you're going to need for Tuesday or day 2, quarter 2 is a large loop band. If you have a handle band, that would work okay too. So they are overhead press, knee block, and squat jack. Those are our 3 exercises. So we'll do each of them for 1 minute and then be done with today's active recovery day. So your overhead press, step into your band comes up to the chest, engage those glutes, tip that belly button back, and you're gonna go up overhead. We want this one to be on tempo. So it's gonna be a quick press. We want to be quick to that overhead press, okay? That's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is that knee block or knee drive. We're gonna do that standing contraction of our abs. We're gonna drive that. This one we will switch halfway at that 30-second mark. We're gonna do that contraction. So that knee block or knee drive. And then our last one is that squat. So you're gonna squat, feet together. So it is that squat, jack. Use those arms to stay engaged. So we have 1 minute of each of them, and then we'll be done for today. Okay, here we go. On tempo. Good work, good work. Rest where you need to. If it starts to fall apart, get that quality back. Okay, here we go for that knee block, knee drive. Imagine breaking that board, right? So if you've got a board in your hand, you're gonna break that board. Tension, nice and tall. Don't curl down too much. You gotta feel that ab contraction. Take out your aggression right now. Drive that knee. Break that board. Good, other side. Our last exercise is that squat jack. So a minute of this is a long time, so you want to make sure that you rest, find that quality, maybe break them into groups of 10 and then put a little rest in there. Just make sure you're choosing quality over quantity, even though we're on tempo. Ready? Here we go. Think about that belly button. We want to keep those abs, that core engaged. A little bit of a pause if you need. Shake those legs out and then get back into it. Less than 10 seconds. All right, active recovery, day 2 done. Don't forget to drink your water. Do some really good deep breathing before you get out of this thing. And I will see ya when I see ya. Take care.